Start recording. And let's share my screen.
In an answer to your question, there is somebody running for Attorney General, Attorney Matthew DePerno, who Michigan Senate Republicans accused of spreading demonstrably false information about the 2020 election, says he's launching a campaign for Attorney General. That was July.
Of course.
Great.
Of course. Well, this is awesome. Welcome to 1984, everyone. All right, I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Actually, first things first, I don't see Nate. So is anyone able to take notes really quick?
You are recording it.
That's true. I can do that later. Good point. Thank you, Mike.
No problem.
Okay. Call this meeting to order. It is 10:10 a.m. Thank you for being here, everyone. So let's go ahead and start with the native land acknowledgement. The state of Michigan occupies the ancestral, traditional, and contemporary lands of the Anishinaabeg Three Fires Confederacy, the Ottawa, Chippewa, and Potawatomi. The Michigan Democratic Party recognizes historic Indigenous communities in Michigan and those who were forcibly removed from their homelands. We further recognize the ongoing relationship of dependence upon and respect for all living beings of earth, sky, and water. In offering this land acknowledgement, we affirm Indigenous sovereignty, history, and experiences. All right, determination of quorum. So I see we have 9 people. I see Allegan, Van Buren, Kalamazoo, Berrien. Do we have anybody from Cass? I don't see Naomi.
She was on, but she's off again.
She was definitely in the meeting earlier with Rick, but anyway, we've got 5 out of 6 at the moment, so that's good. So awesome, yay, we have quorum. Thank you for being here, everyone. Approval of agenda. So did everyone get a copy of the agenda?
It's on the calendar too.
Move to
If not-
approve Catherine Van Buren.
Thank you. Do we have a second for approval of the agenda?
Support. Mike
Support.
Science.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Or is there any discussion? Sorry. Okay, I'll take the ayes. Any opposed? Okay, great. Thank you so much for approving our agenda. So officer reports. So my report. Obviously, the big thing that's going on is redistricting is still ongoing. I just found out this morning that there is a meeting on Tuesday in Kalamazoo at 7 p.m. I posted it to our Facebook page, and I'll have more information in the announcements section at this meeting. But it is another opportunity if you're in Kalamazoo to meet with the redistricting committee. And it didn't really specify what sort of the format will be, but they will be present and the community is welcome to attend. So redistricting is still ongoing, and you know, it's important that we all make sure that they listen to what we have to say. The Michigan Democratic Party is doing a lot for Governor Whitmer. So there are activities. Last week was a big weekend for her. A lot of people out knocking doors and spreading lit. So I'm sure that events like that will continue going forward. As soon as I hear about a next event that they are hosting or where we can get some lit, if you're interested in that. Corey also is one of our good resources for that. So yeah, they're doing a big push to make sure that we get the word out about Governor Whitmer's campaign ASAP and as thoroughly as possible so that we can reassure that she gets reelected. And the other thing is mainly the communication from the MDP this week was prior to all the stuff going on in Afghanistan, but they're really talking about the infrastructure plan that's going through Congress at the moment and the president's support for that. And how it's going to support Michigan, but obviously that has sort of been overshadowed by everything that's going on in Afghanistan. Haven't gotten any official talking points from the MDP on that yet, but obviously it's extremely tragic what's going on, and I don't know really what else to say except that it's extremely tragic and unfortunate how that has been unfolding. All right, so we've got a treasurer report as well. So the PAC account has $4,901.91. With the addition of the funds that we received from the picnic, the admin account is now up to $2,823.50 for a grand total of $7,725.41. According to Ken, they are still working on the FEC approvals and submissions. That is ongoing. He did not have any specific updates on that, except that that process is still ongoing. And now I will turn it over to Rick for the candidate and campaigns report.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I want to thank Eleanor for including my report on the agenda. I was originally hoping to have a potential candidate for Congress here in the 6th Congressional District. Her name is to join us this morning, Jasmine Moore Kyle. I've been in contact with her this morning. Unfortunately, she's not able to join us this morning. So I'm hoping that maybe she can join us, Eleanor, at the September meeting for the general meeting and have an opportunity to kind of introduce herself at that time, if that's all right. We did meet this morning. The candidate recruitment and campaigns committee met this morning. Our initial meeting with the group. I greatly appreciated the folks that were able to be there. We had Helen Goings from Allegan was with us, Joy Andrews from Berrien County, and Naomi, I thought she was on our meeting here earlier as well, Naomi Ludman from Cass County as well. We did not have representatives from Kalamazoo, St. Joseph, or Van Buren, besides myself being from Van Buren County. And so and I'm going to look around a little bit to see if any of those chairs are on this morning. And I'm not real sure, but and I want to make sure, I'm going to ask this question, Eleanor, if you give me a moment to do this. From Kalamazoo County, I have Bill Reeves as a representative from the CRCC. Is that accurate? Do you know? St. Joseph, I have Kathy Greaves. I don't see Kathy on the meeting this morning either. And then from Van Buren, Doug Cultra, and I've tried to reach out to those folks. I got email addresses and things from Eleanor to try to reach out to those folks. So I will continue to work with county chairs and their representatives to see if they can join us for our next meeting. Real quick, Eleanor already mentioned it, but from my committee, we continue to monitor progress of the Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission, because that will impact, obviously, state, House, Senate, and even the congressional district lines. As we look to recruit candidates, I've had several meetings with Joey Andrews to talk about Southwest Michigan in general. He's done a great job of monitoring, what's going on with the redistricting commission as well. I've had an opportunity with his help to testify, did testimony and drew a map and submitted those sorts of things as well. But we're kind of treading lightly here only because candidates aren't sure what district they're going to be in. We are also focusing on county level, local, township races and that sort of thing as well, trying to do my best. And we got to start with this morning so that I can help out from this level to the counties in terms of identifying people to run for office. We had a good conversation about that this morning. Just a couple to give you updates and people that I've had an opportunity to meet with in terms of candidate recruitment. Jasmine Kyle Moore from Benton Harbor, potential candidate for Congress. And Joey Andrews and I actually met with her on August the 12th and had a great conversation. We met in St. Joe. I've met with South Haven City Council candidate Wendy Onuki. She had a campaign event on August 2nd. I'm working with her a little bit on her campaign committee, and she was the top vote getter in the primary in South Haven for South Haven City Council for Ward 2, which is the ward that she's running for as well. And she will have a runoff in the November election with Cam Doherty is her opponent's name. We met this morning with the campaigns committee, with the county reps that were able to be there. And I want to thank Eleanor for taking time to join us as well. We did review the committee goals. We started to have conversations about identifying current or potential public office holders, and those that might be interested, and then continue that to have a conversation about those that might be interested in running for higher office. We had a brief introduction. If you've not had an opportunity yet, I encourage everyone to contact Joey Andrews and to read his analysis of the 2020 election. He did a very extensive report, including data for each of the counties, and some ideas in terms of how to be more effective and efficient in identifying candidates and running campaigns. So he gave a brief introduction to our committee on that this morning as well. This committee is going to plan to meet prior to our meeting of the 6th Congressional District, both the executive and the executive meetings and the general meetings. And so our next meeting will be September 18th at 9 a.m., whether it be in person or virtual or whatever. We're going to go ahead and do that. And then the last thing I'll mention, Eleanor, and I don't know, I will go ahead and forward the meeting notes or minutes to you or a designee. If you'd rather have those go to the secretary, recording secretary, I can do that. But I will contact Eleanor and work with that, moving forward with that. Finally, in terms of campaign strategies, again, I met with Joey Andrews, August 12th. He's the AFL-CIO Regional Field Director for year-round organizing. He started a preliminary analysis of the census data. The calendar for the redistricting commission is kind of all over the place, I think. I heard some things reported and then went on the website and saw what their calendar is, and it wasn't actually in line with what was reported in the media. And so we're just keeping an eye on that. And then finally, in terms of strategies, finding ways, some of the things that we're working on, a proposal to expand the Van Buren County Commission in terms of the number of members on the county commission, working to what we refer to as a donor culture, finding ways to increase fundraising in Southwest Michigan in the 6th Congressional. And then finally, one of the things that I talked extensively with Joey about was finding ways to establish with those that we don't have a relationship already and enhancing the relationship that we have with labor in Southwest Michigan. And I did an initial reach out. Millie Lambert, I'm sure several of you know Millie or know of Millie. She has started the Kalamazoo Area Michigan Education Association Retired group. I reached out to her. Education is what I know best. I was a teacher, retired. I'm a retired educator, and finding ways to reach out and communicate with the local EAs and educational support professional organizations in Southwest Michigan. I hope to begin some conversations with those folks, how we can involve them to a greater extent. Respectfully submitted, myself and Eleanor, I will email you my report, or I will share my report with you via Google Doc, and then at least you'll have that report to include with the minutes. Any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
I realized that this was Rick's committee report, but I don't have the agenda in front of me. Are we planning to have a further discussion about the redistricting topic, or do we want to, is that part of this?
It can be. It was sort of open for discussion if Corey were able to join us, and I do not see him on our participant list at the moment. But yeah, if you want to have that.
What would you
here.
prefer, Eleanor? I have some things I could say as a question or a comment to this report, or unless we're going to have a further discussion later.
There wasn't a specific agenda item unless there were people that wanted to talk about it. I know that you had brought it up, but I figured that this was a good enough time as any. So please go ahead.
Well, our individual counties, I assume, have either had their first county redistricting committee meetings or are there in the very near future. We have had the first meeting of that group in Kalamazoo, and interestingly, I attended some of the meetings 10 years ago. And at that time, of course, there's 5 members of the county redistricting, the county clerk, prosecutor, trying to think of the third person. I don't think it's sheriff. I think it's the treasurer. and the both party chairs. So that's 5 members. 10 years ago in Kalamazoo, we were outnumbered 4-1. Now we outnumber the Republicans 4-1. So we've captured those 3 positions in the interim. I think one of the first decisions is to decide how many members are going to be on the county commission for the next 10 years. And that's kind of an important, there are political considerations around that, but also practical considerations of how many committees there are that need to have a representative from the county commission on them. So that's very important. And I've heard that one suggestion at least was to reduce the number of commissioners down to, one person was saying 7 in Kalamazoo. I think that would be too few. So we can communicate with our representatives on our respective county redistricting commissions and see what, I intend to do that this week. But in Kalamazoo, but we can all get in touch and see what's up with that in our respective counties. The AFL-CIO had provided maps, and they were online, both for all 3 statewide maps, that is Congress, State Senate, and State House. They were very interesting and would lead to, they were not gerrymandered, but they did maximize the number of contested seats that would be available. And I thought those were very interesting, and I hope we come out somewhere in the end with a larger number of contested seats where we can actually, the general election means something in a larger number of districts. I guess those are just a few comments I had. And I was hoping Corey could be on, but I guess he's not.
Question for you, Mark. You spoke about the number of commissioners. Is that just something that a committee can determine, or does that have to go to the voters to change the number of county commissioners?
No, the redistricting commission, the county redistricting commission, has the authority to do that. And that's been, for instance, in Kalamazoo, that's been all over the place over the recent decades. So there were, I believe, 17 or 19 previously, and that was unworkable in the other direction. It went down to 11 for the last 10 years. I think that's been good from my observation. But the idea now is to reduce that further, either to 9 or to 7. And I just think that 7 would be unworkable. But given all the work that has to be divided up for the commissioners. But we will see. But I'm going to make that comment to the commission whenever they meet next, or at least to some of the members.
Thank you. Anybody have any further comments about any of these reports, questions for Mark or Rick or myself?
Eleanor, if it's all right, I'll just add real quick. So Van Buren County, and Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Annie is the chair of the redistricting for Van Buren County, correct?
Annie's on. She can answer that if you like.
Is she on? I didn't see. Oh, Annie, are you there? I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Maybe.
I think that's how it works, though. They ask for somebody, and she's the somebody, I think.
I believe so. I believe she's the chair, and they're discussing and I can text her too to see if she can get on the meeting. But anyway, that's my understanding. She's the chair, and they're having conversations about possibly increasing the number of commission members in Van Buren County.
How many does Van Buren have?
We have 7.
Okay, yeah, we have 7 in Allegan too, and I already brought it up to consider maybe expanding to 9. We did increase almost 10% in Allegan County And we had at one time 11, and then they cut it way back to 7. So we'll see what happens. I
Kathleen,
have one other question. Has anybody been in touch with Matt Longjohn? Because my understanding is that he is open to and possibly considering running for Congress, but he wants to wait and see how the district shapes up.
I guess I can answer that question just a little bit. I did have a conversation with Joey about that, and I think we'll go ahead and move forward with communicating and that sort of thing as well. I'll reach out again though, Jill, I'll reach out again to Joey, see if he has contact information and make sure that if he is interested, that we have an opportunity to have a conversation.
Yeah, I think as candidate recruitment, it would be definitely a good idea. I can give you Matt's cell phone number. And then I'm Facebook friends with him, and he does sometimes respond to Facebook messages, but
Perfect.
some people aren't on it as much as others, so.
That'd be
Yep,
great.
thank you.
Jill, do you want to just put that in the chat here, or you can
Yeah.
email me, or, okay,
I can put it in the chat.
perfect, thank you.
Kathleen, I see your hand is up. You're muted though.
Sorry about that. I'm having a hard time staying connected. So if I disappear into the ether, it's because I've lost connection. We here in Cass met with Joey probably 5 times in the last month. He doesn't live far from here, so it's easy for him to jump over here. His recommendations to us to present to the committee, the redistricting committee here in Cass. Some of them are rather interesting, and listening to the rest of you in terms of numbers on the commission, he's recommending that we reduce the commission to 5. It's been as big as 13, which I understand was not very functioning, and it's been 9, it's been 7, and a reduction to 5 is quite a reduction. We can make that. We're outnumbered on the redistricting committee in Cass. We're kind of like the odd man out, but at the same time, I'm hearing that most of you feel that a larger number perhaps is better than a smaller number, and I'm that's oversimplifying it. I think we had some sense that a smaller number might make individual commissioners more accountable, but it really does limit the number of committees that you'd have to have, I'm guessing, one commissioner is serving on several committees. Do we have, what kind of experience have you had out there when it comes to reducing from what was once 13? Now it's, at the present moment, it's 9 down to 5. Does that sound to you like we should consider it seriously, or are we just going to be laughed out of the meeting?
Kathleen, did Joey give any rationale for that recommendation?
It allows us to have every one of his proposal gave us more, Cass County more that we would be covered better, that we would have he was dividing areas in a fashion that would cover and would also bring Democrats, more Democrats into the table.
Kathleen,
Yeah.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, okay. This is Naomi. I'm sorry. I need to be admitted to the meeting, but all I can do is hear you all. I'm on my phone. Joey's rationale was that a 5 commission map allows us to have every one of our we cross no township lines. We don't have to break up any township lines. So every township is intact. With the exception, we have to carve out one precinct in Dowagiac. So it gives us, and it meets the population deviation. And it still gives us the opportunity to win one commission seat. Sorry, Kathleen, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt
I
your thought.
appreciate, I was expecting you'd be joining us.
I would just comment on that. That sounds like that's based on one, a political consideration, and two, not breaking township lines, which that's kind of like the tail wagging the dog, in my opinion. The more important consideration is, do you have enough commissioners to cover the workload of committee work and other assignments? And that's, of course, needs to be information that comes from current commissioners and what their experience is. I'm just saying that in Kalamazoo, where I'm up, I know a bunch of the commissioners and I know what they do. It seems to me that 7 would be too few and 9 would be marginal, probably 11, which is what it is currently. But maybe there are fewer committees, I don't know, but it just seems like 5 would be a drastic limitation on the ability to have commissioners digging deep into individual departments and really getting deeply into the weeds of what's going on in their county government.
Eleanor, if I could real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the only data that I've seen on elections here in Southwest Michigan and that sort of thing, I've done a little bit of my own, is the information that I have with Joey. And he's only one person. But to this point, the information that I've seen from him, I think to kind of answer Kathleen's question, I think it's strategic to each county to some extent. In terms of getting, and I will be blunt, getting more Democrats elected to those positions or progressives to benefit the individual county. So I would imagine maybe, because Kathleen, if he's recommending, reducing the number to 5 there, I would imagine there's some sort of rationale because the conversation I had with him about Van Buren County in terms of trying to increase and the way that the districts within the commission would be established and that sort of thing, that was the goal in regards. So I from what I'm hearing from Mark and from you, it sounds like each county, obviously, because of the makeup and population is going to be a little bit different, but finding ways to get those, finding ways to get that progressive voice at the county level, as well as Mark, like you mentioned, right, the role of those commissioners and what their role is, but to also be a progressive voice too. So.
Well, we have an opportunity to, we have a candidate who has been on the commission before, who has indicated that she's going to be running for the commission again. And she's pretty powerful, progressive, just recently Democrat. The county commission has been traditionally very red. And Les, I'm going to say it's not very active. They're still working on projects that they've been working on for 15, 20 years. They have an old courthouse building that they can't quite figure out what to do with. The only thing that rumbled at all, as far as I'm aware, this year was the idea of a Second Amendment city, and that rumbled through and that passed on. So I even though, yes, we certainly want coverage, or coverage isn't the right word. We want active committee work done at the commission. It hasn't been happening. So it could be, and I'm sure we're all coming from individual places in terms of how our government is responding. But having fewer then brings perhaps more attention, because those fewer might in fact have some interest in bringing to the table from the townships or from. So I don't know that we have any opportunity to be more than laughed out of the room when we talk about it, but it's a whole different kind of plan. And I'm not sure Naomi's going to want to go in that direction.
Right. Well, here's the other thing I'll mention real briefly is that if it's something you believe in, I don't think we should be afraid to be laughed out of the room.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
right. I mean, we all see what's going on with local school boards right now. Tell you that's the area where I think focus should be on here. But anyway, if you need support or need other folks to attend meetings or anything like that, happy to try to help out from the capacity of the candidate recruitment and campaigns committee. Right, anything we can do to support other counties throughout the district. Please let me know if there's anything you think we can do to help. Well, and Naomi, though, right, is your representative. She was terrific on the meeting this morning. Had a lot to offer. So,
yes.
Mark, I see your hand up.
Good morning, everybody. Just a quick thought from Allegan County. Our health department a couple days ago put a mask mandate in place for the public schools this year. And last night in a 6-1 vote, the Allegan County Commission suggested that the health department reverse itself, apparently lacking authority to do that directly. They're going to do some political grandstanding about it. I only bring this up to say there is some real world urgency to making sure that these county commissioners aren't completely bonkers. At least in Allegan County, they're kind of an active bunch. They get a fair amount done, but then, we end up with these Second Amendment county resolutions and this kind of garbage coming down. So, man, oh man, do we need a seat at the table? And I guess the last thing, I'm curious what Joey's rationale is for going to 5 commissioners, how that could possibly get us more commissioners, more Democratic commissioners. When we find ourselves, essentially in a 60-40 minority in many of these counties, I'm curious why he doesn't think more commission members favors us rather than less.
Eleanor, can I again go ahead, Naomi? Sorry.
No, we only have the chance of winning 1 seat. So if we have 1 out of 5, that one person represents more and has more power than 1 out of 7.
Eleanor, since we're still in, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I was just saying that makes sense.
I was just gonna say, since we're kind of still in my area of the report and the agenda, if you would like, I could have a conversation with Joey. Maybe he could share some information that he thinks might be valuable, or we can invite him to a meeting, or the committee that we have with, like I said, Naomi and Helen were with us this morning, that maybe at our next meeting, we have that conversation and maybe we can report out. If you'd like, we can do that. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, I agree. It's clear that there's a lot to be said about this topic. So I would suggest, since there's also a lot up in the air at the moment, and we need a little bit more information, I would highly suggest that anyone who's interested in talking about this, learning more about this, influencing this, does it sound right that they attend your next meeting, Rick? Because we need candidates to run, we need to influence our county commissions. So as soon as you've got that schedule figured out, just let me or Mike know, and we can send that information out to the greater group. And we'll make sure that we get an agenda item on our next agenda for our September meeting, which is with the larger district committee. So we got an opportunity to hear an even wider set of information and opinions. Does that sound good for everybody?
Sure.
Okay, excellent. Okay, and Jill just posted Joey's email in the chat for everybody, which I will also include in the minutes once I have compiled those. Okay, so we'll move ahead to report of counties. Jill, you want to give the report for Allegan?
Yes, ma'am. So we have a little excitement going on, as Mark told you. Austin crafted an excellent response to that, and we're trying to get that spread around on Facebook. I think it's very brave of our health department to do this. And there are not a lot of health departments that have taken this step. And I would imagine that of all the ones that have, Allegan is the reddest. So we're proud of them. Our fair is coming up the first week of, well, it's actually the second week of August. It starts the Friday after Labor Day. I am sad to report that Governor Whitmer's schedule will not accommodate an appearance at the fair. I really had hope, but it's not happening. But Judge Bernstein will be there. So he's delightful if you haven't met him. And we are, he's here in Allegan County through the 29th, and he's looking for events to attend. So if anybody has an event coming and they would like, he doesn't even need to speak. He just loves to be with people. He's quite energetic and very lovely. And we might be having like a meet and greet. Austin was talking about it, possibly us throwing something together. So if so, we will put it in the 6th District Facebook group. We are working on our postcard campaign to send 1,000 postcards to strong Dems in our cities, excepting Saugatuck and Douglas, because I think that's kind of like already handled. So we're focusing on attracting more Democrats and identifying more Democrats in our other cities, plus in Southwest Michigan, or Southwest Allegheny County, which is where we have a higher density of Democrats, and then also in Southeast Allegheny County, where the amazing Austin Marsman is running for county commission. So we're going to follow our postcards with a phone bank chase to follow up with phone calls to all those folks. And the objective being to get more participation and membership, but membership without participation doesn't do good. So the real goal is participation. And we are going to be hosting Voters Not Politicians on September 21st at the Allegan Tech Center for the redistricting conversation update information. So you're welcome to come up to the Tech Center for that. Just FYI, Mark Lachey is going to be at our meeting in October, and we invited Julie, and she offered, drawing the blank now, Julie Rogers, to come and give us a legislative update in November. So these are all on the third Tuesday, and everybody's welcome. I don't think and we still have yard signs. We have Democrats Believe yard signs with lots of them. So if you ran out, let me know, I can get you more. We do have a few Whitmer, but we're moving through those. But the 6th District has the Whitmer signs if anybody ran out or needs more.
I have tons. Let me know.
Yep. Tons, yes. Yeah, maybe you guys have a booth at the fair, the Kalamazoo Dems?
That I don't know, but I was planning on coming and volunteering in Allegan, so I was planning on bringing my my remainder so that we can hopefully move them.
Well, we were planning to move ours, so we'll just have to make sure. Well, we can talk about that, but I mean, it would be a really good idea if the Kalamazoo Dems have a booth at their fair. That would be a great place. I'm sure there's some Kalamazoo Dems that would like those. I don't think they have as many My Governor is an Idiot signs in Kalamazoo County, but they probably still have plenty. I think that's it. So thank you.
Jill,
Yes.
this is Naomi Ledman. Could you possibly send me a copy of what your postcards say?
Helen I think Helen's on here, I hope. I think we're using the Rural Caucus postcards. They were designed by the Calhoun County Democrats.
Okay, so is there a specific message on the card?
If I can email you the draft of the postcard that Calhoun County proposed, and the coordination of printing them is going through the Rural Caucus, Kathy Albro. Do you have her email?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. All right, I can forward you right now during the meeting the copy of what they're proposing. We thought about redesigning it, and then we thought, you know what, they did a good job. We're
On
just gonna
it.
rubber stamp theirs, and it says CC Calhoun County, yeah, CCDP, and then on ours they'll just replace it with ACDP and our logo, and so there's just a couple of spots where it'll be customized, and everything else will be just the same template.
Thank you very much, Jill. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Were there any other questions for Jill? All right, seeing none, we will move to Berrien County. Amy.
Thanks. Yeah, we are at our fair this week, so a couple more days. Berrien County Youth Fair in Berrien Springs. We have had success moving a lot of our signs, so that is definitely a good idea, especially the Democrats we believe signs, right? Have had lots of great conversations. It's been a really great rural outreach for us is what it is. Trying to counter some of the false messaging around our stance on agricultural issues in general and farmer support specifically. So it's been good. Our next meeting is next Thursday. We have Dana Nessel joining us via Zoom. Obviously talking about the state of things and plans moving forward for 2022. But our main focus right now is on our two city elections, St. Joe and Benton Harbor. The St. Joe city election had a primary a few weeks ago. 2 of our people made it through, which is huge. There are 3 seats open. So of the 3, we are moving forward to get our 2 elected. That will, if we get them through, which is the plan, be the first time that the city of St. Joe has ever had pretty close to a Democratic majority. At that point, it would be, actually it would be a Democratic majority, right? Because it would be the 3 out of 5. So, so that would be huge. And so that's kind of where all of our focus and energy is right now, or much of our, obviously not all, but much of our energy. We'll be doing tons of canvassing and tons of fundraising and work, and would appreciate any help that anyone would like to offer, because it's a big deal. St. Joe is the seat of our county, and so goes St. Joe. Well, I guess just, you know, not overstate it. It could have a huge impact on our relationship with all the other municipalities in our county, and just a huge impact on the county. So we're really focused on that. Benton Harbor is, of course, we will be working for our membership there, but it's not as contested a race, thankfully. We're doing some other fundraising stuff, some really good outreach with the unions. I think that's basically it. Unless anybody has anything to add.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Amy? All right, seeing none, let's go ahead to Naomi. If you'd like to go ahead and give your report.
Sure. We just completed the Cass County Fair. We collected almost 100 signatures for Governor Whitmer on her petitions, and generally had a lot of good conversations. The fair is always interesting for us because somebody in their great infinite wisdom puts us right next to the Tea Party. So that leads to interesting conversations throughout the week. But they pretty much left us alone, and we left them alone too. So we are, of course, focusing on redistricting, as has already been sort of covered. But I want to mention that we have actually set up a special meeting with Joey Andrews on the 24th, Tuesday the 24th at 6, to talk about redistricting. And I kind of have to check with Joey, but it sounds to me like maybe we should invite other people who are interested. He's going to kind of give an overview about, you know, where we are with redistricting, and then answer questions. You know, our intent was to let our CAS folks ask questions, but I don't see any reason why we couldn't open this meeting up to other people. Our members have a lot of questions about, you know, redistricting and why we might still end up in the 59th district and things like that. But if any of you have any interest in joining that meeting, let me know, and I will see if I can get the information out there. I also want to make sure that we invite everybody to our special grassroots series, which is on September 16th, and this will be on Facebook Live. So information will just be coming through via Facebook. We have invited Dr. Kathy Thiessen, who's a veterinarian who specializes, one of her specialties is wolves. So she's going to be talking about the myths surrounding wolves, why wolves are important to our ecosystem, and why we should, why we should be working on wolf preservation and how we can do that. So we want to make sure that everybody knows about that and has the opportunity to attend. Again, that's the 16th of September at 6:30 on Facebook Live. I think those were all the things that I wanted to mention. Thanks.
Thank you, Naomi. Does anybody have any questions for Naomi? All right. Is anyone here that can provide a report for Kalamazoo? I do not see Mariah.
Ken, Eleanor.
Okay, go ahead, please. Thank you.
So we've been active in door-to-door canvassing, even in the middle of this wave of COVID. But both of our state reps are out with their teams, and John Hoadley has been volunteering and coordinating volunteers. And I'm aware of this mostly through Facebook, but we're doing a lot of campaigning right now. We do have city elections coming up, and there have been requests for endorsement at our meeting Thursday night for these nonpartisan seats. We had at our Thursday meeting a report from the Bylaws Committee, which I chair, and we adopted a number of fairly routine bylaws changes, but then one was considerably contentious. Because it might apply to some of you and it might be helpful to have some perspective from another county. One of the most contentious things in our life together as a party has been endorsements, at least in Kalamazoo. On the one hand, endorsements are a very useful tool. And in some cases, we do have Democrats in name only, and we want to, we know that, we want to distinguish between them. On the other hand, we have had a lot of contentious, a lot of debates that have been actually hurtful and divisive, in my opinion, and in the opinion of those who were actually sponsoring this particular amendment that came to us. And the perception is among a lot of newer candidates that this is a kind of a closed club. The folks who have been there a long time get the endorsements, and it's hurtful to us in recruitment as well. So there are arguments on both sides, and I take both of them seriously. In any case, our Bylaws Committee had voted to bring an amendment that no partisan endorsements would be in order prior to the primary. We could still endorse nonpartisan races, but we would, and of course, we can endorse our Democratic nominees after the primary. Well, there was considerable contentious debate on this, and it did in the final vote get a majority, 12 yes, 8 no, but it required a 2/3 majority, and that was not met, so the proposal was defeated. I'm kind of curious as to whether other county parties are doing this and whether you've had some of these experiences, but that's something that I think we will continue to struggle with into the future. On the one hand, it is a positive sign that people care about our endorsement because it must mean something. And in fact, it does. We can prove that statistically. We can prove it in terms of the web traffic that comes to our endorsement pages on our site once ballots start to hit. And so there's strong evidence that our endorsement does count. So especially in primaries. I think that's all I need to report, unless there's any questions.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions?
Mark?
Oh, yeah.
So you're talking about endorsing between Democratic candidates, potential candidates.
Well, actual candidates that are on the ballot. So presently, we do not endorse prior to filing deadline for the primary. So, and we had that debate previously, and people wanted to endorse all of our incumbents before we even knew who the candidates were. Well, we haven't been doing that more recently. However, in the interval between filing deadline and the primary election, we currently will continue to have the opportunity to endorse partisan candidates, so endorsing some Democrats over others.
I guess I think, and this is a problem that most of us don't have, right? You're in an enviable position to have this as a problem, right? To have more than one person running as a Dem in any given election. But I guess part of me thinks, why not just endorse all the Dems? You know, instead of making it a contentious issue, why not just endorse all the Dems that are members in good standing of the party? You have criteria just like we do, like we won't endorse anybody who hasn't been a member for 30 days and blah, blah, blah. Could it not be that easy that you make a blanket endorsement for all the people that meet that criteria? And then whoever gets through the primary, those are your people that go forward?
It could be if everyone was in agreement, but if the bylaws allow for endorsements in this situation, then someone has an argument, well, this person actually made a contribution so many years ago to a Republican. And so they're not really a Dem and we should endorse the other person. And someone else, and so we have the fights over how significant is that and all the rest that follows from that. And additionally, there's an argument to endorse incumbents over challengers in the primary and all the rest.
Growing pains.
So if you allow it, then you'll have these kinds of fights, which, you know, how significant that is a question of judgment.
And this is why I like being the chair of the Allegan Dems, and I would not want to be the chair of the Kalamazoo Dems.
Mark, correct me if I'm wrong. Does the CD6 overarching bylaws have a stipulation about this? Because I know we've discussed about endorsing prior to primaries. And I recall that we kind of came to the consensus that we wouldn't do it, but I don't know if that was actually codified in our bylaws or not.
No, it is not. In fact, we do not have any language about endorsements to the best of my recollection. I probably should go and double check that. But I believe the last time I checked it that that was the case. And that means it's open under Robert's rules to make any motion that anyone wishes, including one to endorse. It has not been that much of an issue, not nearly as significant. And, you know, obviously, we did not endorse in the situation in the primary before last, when we had initially 5 candidates. No one thought it would be a good idea to endorse in that. And I certainly would have strongly urged us to keep out of that. I think it would have been destructive, and not to our advantage. But at any rate, we don't have any language in our bylaws about it.
So probably what I'm remembering is just a friendly discussion that we all had as a group, like, you know, this would be a really bad idea. Okay, cool. Just checking. All right, any other questions for Mark regarding Kalamazoo? All right, seeing none. Okay, I don't think that Kathy is here. Is there anyone from St. Joseph that can give a report? I do not see. Okay, Van Buren, Annie, if you can give us a report, if you're still on.
I'll give a brief report and have Rick pipe in because part of our meeting last Thursday was his report on our candidate committee and some other committees. So our meeting, we had a guest speaker called name of Allison Harrop, and director of United Christian Services. So we talked about poverty and what we do in our county to help. We approved purchasing a new banner for parades, and we're working on what we're going to put on it. And we enabled the executive committee to make the decision and put and get it made so we can bring it out to a couple of parades. We're looking at Labor Day parade in Hartford and the Pawpaw Wine and Harvest Festival parade. We were talking about a fall event, but our new COVID-19 stuff has tabled that. And then we adjourned and painted some bowls for the fundraiser for the United Christian Services to help alleviate poverty in Van Buren County. They cover the east side of Van Buren County, and we have a group in South Haven called the We Care that covers the west side of the county. And Rick, could you give a brief synopsis of the report you sent to us that we read at our meeting?
Gosh, I would have to go I have to go back and look at what the report was, because I was unable to attend the meeting, unfortunately. Mike, did they report out how successful the fundraiser was? Oh, Mike, you're muted.
You're muted.
Yeah, I gotta push the button, sorry. Yeah, we had a good fundraiser. We had $600 raised in tickets, and of those, not everybody actually attended on our Zoom cocktail party, but we sold almost $3,000 and $3,300 in auction items. So we raised close to $4,000. So that was a really successful fundraiser. So now we have a little bit of change in our coffers, and we're trying to get a new treasurer because our current treasurer is commuting between Portage and South Haven because he doesn't live in either one right now.
So I can do a little bit more if you want, Eleanor. I'll be brief. I just reported on the Van Buren County election results that we had in terms of in South Haven. Scott Smith and Ahmad Goodwin will be the two candidates in the November election for mayor in South Haven. City Council, I already mentioned. The other thing that I reported on, and I don't mean to step on anyone's toes, I'm just going to put it that way, but I reported out, I did some research on the proposals that were passed at the August election. In Pawpaw School District, proposal for $53 million plus was defeated, 1,324 to 1,279 votes. Pawpaw Township proposal for a new fire station passed. And a Pawpaw Village proposal for parks improvements and maintenance also passed. In Lawrence Township road millage passed, an increase in the road millage passed, as well as their school bond proposal, which was 1.7 million for buildings, remodeling buildings, and a bus purchase. And then everything else, I think I mentioned in my earlier reports. The other thing one other thing, if you'll allow me, in terms of Van Buren County, looking at our finances as well, creating our budget priorities. I had mentioned in I've reached out to other members of the CD6, the other county chairs, et cetera, for assistance with this, which I appreciated. There's a gentleman named Wayne Deering that lives in Pawpaw at Eagle Lake. He's going to assist us with the finance committee work. He actually worked on Democratic campaigns back in the 80s. He actually worked on Howard Wolpe's campaign. And then we are going to, in Van Buren County, see what we can do to put together a finance committee and get some of that work done as well moving forward, so we can kind of create some budget priorities for the group. So thank you. That's all I have to add.
All right, any other questions for Van Buren County before we continue? Okay, moving on. State party report. I do not see Corey. I can give some bullet points from the emails that we received from Haley from the MDP. An important thing, they're hosting a, let's see if I missed the, no, you can still register. So their MDP is hosting a diversity roundtable registration, or a diversity roundtable discussion. The registration deadline is Sunday, August 29th. I can send everyone the link to this. Only county chairs, statewide caucus chairs, and vice chairs are allowed to attend. But if any of you our county chairs would like to attend, obviously diversity is something that's extremely important that we need to take more seriously and learn more about. So that's the point of this roundtable, just to get everybody to be in the same room, discuss. It's virtual, I'm pretty sure. So I'll send some more information out about that. We've got the, Jill, do you have any information? I know that I have to submit those canvasser names. Have we finalized those?
Did you did send them to Bob?
I didn't get the finalized information from you, except for the one person. Do we have any more after that?
Oh, it's late. Well, there was 3 people and they all agreed.
Okay,
I thought I got back to you. Sorry about that.
no worries. I'll circle back after this meeting with you then.
Okay.
But they were bringing that to everyone's attention on our last chairs call. Again, they're just really stressing that if you're out talking to people, obviously, again, Afghanistan has kind of overshadowed everything, but they were very much strongly suggesting talking about the infrastructure plan and the benefits that we'll see to Michigan, especially because that if that gets passed, so we want that to get passed, get everybody calling their senators and congresspeople as much as possible to support that. Because yeah, it'll make a huge difference and we really need to invest in our infrastructure. That's really been what they've been focusing on the last couple of weeks from Haley's email from the MDP. If anyone else knows anything about the state party beyond that, please speak up. Otherwise, we can move on. Rick?
Yeah, I've got a question. So is Jamario Eddy, and I apologize if I mispronounce his name, is he going to be our rep?
That's what I understand. I contacted Corey for his direct information so that we could get him in the loop on everything and have not heard back.
Because I
So
see-
Yeah, he is, you guys, and I can get you that information. I'll put it in the chat. Sorry about that.
Wonderful. Thanks.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, so my understanding, yeah, Corey is a Project 383 organizer just like Jamario, but he only has Kalamazoo. He's got Kalamazoo and then some of the other counties in District 3, I believe. Whereas Jamario covers all of District 6 and I think some of District 2. So he's definitely our person of interest. And Austin posted something in the chat. The Young Dems are hosting a convention today in Macomb County at 4. Details are on their Facebook page. He's headed that way. But if we know any young people that are interested, yeah, definitely get them to be involved in the Young Dems caucus. Always a great way to get involved with the MDP is to join your constituency caucuses, and the Young Dems are extremely active and they are also extremely influential as well. So, hey, Austin, thanks for attending that. Ooh, and Dana Nessel and Abdul Al Sayed will be there. That's cool. All right. Anybody else have any questions, concerns, anything that I can ask Corey about the state party for our next meeting? No, okay. So I don't believe we had any unfinished business from our last meeting, but the only thing that I did want to discuss going forward for new business is our future meeting plans. So I sent an email to everybody. If you had missed that, we had initially hoped that after this meeting, we could be meeting in person again in September for our main district meeting again in Pawpaw. I had contacted the library and they had initially said, I think around July, that they were going to be taking reservations for September. So that would have lined up with our next meeting. Unfortunately, because of the new COVID stuff happening, doesn't sound like they're going to be doing that. So we do not have a meeting venue in person for September. And I would also suggest, due to the enhanced COVID stuff going on, that we probably not meet in person, just for safety and responsibility's sake, at least not at this time. So I would like to just get everybody's opinion. Is it okay if we continue to meet virtually through September? I'm open for discussion, opinions, questions, concerns. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so obviously, as soon as we are able, it's obvious that meeting in person is more productive and is just better for everybody. As soon as we're able, hopefully we'll be able to meet again in person. I did want to give a minor update. So normally, I'm pretty sure, just because we are approaching the end of the year, believe it or not, it's August already, holy cow. So our next all district meeting will be in September. We'll have another executive meeting in October and then another district meeting in November. Hopefully, maybe then we can meet in person. To be determined, but we'll know then. I believe that we usually take December off, which would be an executive committee meeting. So tentatively, I'm going to say we'll probably take December off. But then I will need to take a personal leave of absence in January and February because I'm having a baby. So
Yay!
Congrats, Eleanor.
thank you. So that'll be in December for me, but I want to take a little bit of time off, probably January and February at least, but not probably more than that.
What's your due
but yeah,
date?
December 12th at the moment,
Aha,
but it'll probably be a little bit before that.
okay.
So Linda, I see your hand. So Linda, did you have a question? No? Okay. But yeah, so I don't say that we stop our meetings, I just won't be able to chair them. But I can help out however possible, but obviously I will be busy. Yeah, so that was the only thing. I'll make sure to set up a Zoom meeting for our district meeting in September, and I'll send that to Mike, who can send it out to everybody. Again, thank you for all that feedback, Jill. I appreciate it. We'll try and do a better job of getting the Zoom link out to people in a more convenient way for our meetings going forward. Okay, then we're on to announcements of good and welfare, unless anyone else has any new business. Okay, anyone have any announcements in good and welfare?
I just put Jamario's cell phone number in the chat too, so they were getting close to the end here, so I just want to make sure everybody saw it so they could grab it.
I'll copy that out and get it in the minutes as well. Jill, do you still need volunteers for the fair?
Yes, if anybody wants to come to the infamous Allegan County Fair, we would love to have you. You have the link, right, to the Sign Up Genius. Yes, we're using Sign Up Genius to to schedule. And then the fair parade, which is one of the largest in Michigan, is on September 13th, Monday, and we will be featuring the amazing Blue Wave float created by Mr. Mark Ludwig. And so there's limited space on the float, but we have the back of the pickup too. And everybody else, you're gonna get your exercise in because it's 2 miles. So come join us.
Yeah,
Great
Eleanor, Mark here,
Yeah.
and Jeff, thanks for the lovely stroke on the float. It's currently set up for a VIP to ride in a kayak and do exciting stunts and win us an even better ribbon
Oh my
this
gosh,
year.
we can put Judge Bernstein in the kayak.
Oh, hell yeah, we can.
He'll love that. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think you will too. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to do was just give a quick report on the rural caucus. Our PAC has successfully given away, maxed out on 3 candidates and rolled up enough donors. So we have the clock ticking to be an issue advocacy campaign, which means we can give 10 times as much money to candidates. hoping to, kind of ramp up the fundraising as we kind of head into the fall and winter. Obviously, with COVID exploding, a lot of that's probably going to be online and focused that way. But we're really hoping to be the kind of the gas station for candidates around the state this year and just push gobs and gobs of money out. And yeah, stick it to Betsy DeVos and company. So that's the plan. Hope you can all participate. You can find us on Act Blue.
That's awesome. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Jill. Anyone else have any announcements or good ones? Rick?
Yeah, I can't remember. I thought it was Jill that said she had contact information for Matt Longjohn.
Yes, I emailed it to you, Rick
Oh,
Catherman, right?
Yeah, we're Catherine Gmail.
Yeah, I just
Perfect.
felt like I have Matt's personal cell phone and I should hold it dear,
That's
but
fine.
you can have it.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, cool. Well, any other announcements before we adjourn? Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. Second?
Second.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We are adjourned. Thanks for your time, everybody. Have a great weekend. Be safe, and see you soon.
Thank you, Eleanor.
Bye.
Bye.